One of the things I've noticed about people, truly bad people in this world and in this country especially, is a lack of empathy. The inability to feel sympathy for anyone else. Donald Trump and the MAGA show it. Their lack of empathy day in and day out. Donald Trump showed it almost his entire life. Donald Trump has shown it throughout the 4 years of his presidency. That lack of empathy, that inability to feel sorry for someone. I personally think it's evil. Not because you don't feel anything for someone, you can't put yourself into their shoes, as it were. Not because they say that at some point that this could be me when you're looking at a bum in the street, asking for money, asking for something to eat. The lack of empathy I'm talking about is just feeling something, anything, wondering how is that family is doing, how that person is doing, how that person is feeling after an insurmountable tragedy. Trump and his supporters, by a higher extent, have a complete and total lack of empathy. And Donald Trump has shown that lack of empathy. He has shown it over and over again because during his entire presidency, the entire time he was president, we saw it up close and personal. The lack of empathy for anyone in this country, anyone in this world. A hurricane hit Puerto Rico during his presidency. Instead of saying, I hope everyone's okay and we're going to do everything we can to help, he goes down there and throws paper towels at the crowd. At the same time, refusing people from Puerto Rico to seek shelter in the United States. A total lack of empathy on that case because he's a racist. He hates Hispanic people. He has shown that over and over again in his life. When a mass shooting happens, does he feel sorry for what happened to it? To the families? To the people who were killed? No. He just ignores it. Or worse yet, in one case he says we should get over it. A total lack of empathy. We've had 2 hurricanes hit the South in the last couple of weeks. And Donald Trump's number one response is to lie about the government response for it. Even trying to take credit for the response, for resources going there. A total lack of empathy. Total lack. And I think that's incredibly evil, in my view. That is just incredibly 100% evil. Now, that's just me talking. But honestly, if you still have a soul, if you still have some kind of semblance of a soul, you would agree with me too. I belabor all this because earlier, a few days ago, I believe, Kamala Harris had a town hall in Phoenix, Arizona with Univision. An entire town hall filled of Hispanic people of Latin descent in the crowd. It was moderated by a reporter who was with Univision. And I want to show you just one 5-minute clip of it. Why this 5-minute clip? Because Kamala Harris was asked a very important question for people who are in fear of their lives. Mexican immigrants, whether they're legal or illegal or on the path to being citizens, if Donald Trump becomes president again. I want you to listen to this clip very carefully. Listen to this woman very carefully and listen to Kamala Harris's comments and answer very, very, very carefully. Because she showed empathy where Donald Trump lacks in empathy. Take a listen.
You and I have something in common. We both lost our mother.
Oh.
And I'm an American citizen, born to two Mexican parents. They were here before I was even born. They've worked their whole lives. But with the way immigration laws change over time, I was only able to help my dad get his legal status squared away, but not my mom's. My mom passed away just 6 weeks ago.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And she was never, ever able to get the type of care and service that she needed or deserved. Sorry.
Take your time. Take your time.
So my question for you is, what are your plans, or do you have plans to support that subgroup of immigrants who have been here their whole lives, or most of them, and have to live and die in the shadows?
I'm so sorry for you.
Thank you.
You must remember your mother as she lived.
Mm-hmm.
I have enough of a feeling about your strength that it probably comes from her to know she would want you to remember her as she lived and not as she died, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, let's take it one step at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Your parents were here for years, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
And your father was able to earn his pathway to citizenship, but your mother was not.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to assume it's because part of the problem is that we do have a broken immigration system,
mm-hmm.
including it being the case that even though when we were elected in 2020, and the first bill we offered Congress, before we did the bipartisan infrastructure bill, before we did the work on gun safety, before we did the work on investing in chips and science, the first bill we offered within hours of taking the oath was a bill to fix the immigration system, including creating a comprehensive, earned pathway to citizenship for hardworking people. And it was not taken up. And now we look at a situation where people are suffering. The reality is that in terms of having access to health care, had your mother been able to gain citizenship, she would have been entitled to health care that may have alleviated her suffering and yours. And this is one example of the fact that there are real people who are suffering because of an inability to put solutions in front of politics. I mean, an example of this on immigration policy is that as it relates to what we need to do to strengthen our border. A bipartisan group of members of Congress, including one of the most conservative members of the United States Senate, came together with one of the strongest border security bills we've had in decades. And it included 1,500 more border agents to go to the border to help those hardworking folks who are working around the clock. The border agents supported the bill. It included more resources to stem the flow of fentanyl, which is killing people of every background in every region of our country. It would have allowed us to have more resources to take on transnational criminal organizations. I have prosecuted transnational criminal organizations, from the Guadalajara cartel to the Sinaloa cartel. And Donald Trump found out about that bill, realized it would be a solution, and told them not to put it on the floor for a vote because he would prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And again, Enrique, we were talking about it, in terms of real leadership is about solving problems on behalf of the people. And I'm so sorry for what you've been through. I'm so sorry for what you've been through. And, you know, my mother came to the United States at the age of 19. She was by herself, came alone by herself. She raised my sister and me, Maya. And I know what it is like to have a hardworking mother who loves you and to lose that, but I know that her spirit is alive. I know her spirit is alive. And will you tell me her name and let's speak her name?
Maria Dolores, sorry, Maria Dolores Figueroa.
Maria Dolores? Okay, we speak her name, okay?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias, Yvette. Thank you so much, Madam Vice President.
First things first, my heart goes out to her. My heart goes out to anyone who has to go through this. Losing a family member because of situations like this. My heart goes out to her. I'm going to say it, and I don't give a damn what it makes me sound like, and I don't care if Donald Trump supporters want to hate my guts. They already hate my guts, but I'm just going to say it. This country failed that family. This country failed them, plain and simple. So, you're not going to make sure that a person who's dying gets the medical treatment they need to survive. That's your excuse, because she's not born from this country. She's not a citizen of this country. You're just going to let her die? How Nazi of you. But I give this woman all the respect I got, because I'm not sure if I could have the courage to talk that way to a presidential candidate about my pain, about losing someone I loved, for the stupidest of reasons. That's just me talking. But when Kamala Harris actually, when she actually responded to her question, to this young woman's question, she responded not as a president, not as a presidential candidate, but as a human being who understands the situation, who understands how dangerous and destructive and stupid things are. Her mother should be alive right now to continue her pathway to the permanent citizenship of the United States. But instead, because of a Republican Party, and this should not even be partisan. And that's the sick part about all this. This should not be partisan. You got Republicans who say they're pro-life. They want people to survive. They want people to live. But apparently it only means pro-life when it's from the womb. They could care less about what happens to the baby when he grows up, when he or she grows up, when they go to school. Care less if a mass shooting happens. Care less if they're raped or robbed or beaten. Care less if they become drug addicts. But what I'm trying to say to you all is that this did not need to happen. This young woman's mother, she should be alive now, but because of a broken system of immigration that Donald Trump wanted. Now get this straight to your heads. Donald Trump wanted to keep it broken so he can run this election on immigration. The invasion from the evil Mexican hordes. You know, what really sickens me about Trump is not just the lack of empathy, but how he wants to pretend to be empathetic when it comes to things that he wants. Donald Trump, he can feign, I'm sorry about the wind and everything else. It's a beautiful day out here, so I decided to make my video out here. But the wind is blowing leaves everywhere. I hope you can still hear me. Donald Trump wants to pretend to be empathetic. He wants to pretend that he cares when it only suits his needs. Where was he as President of the United States when a mass shooting happened at a school or a synagogue or a Walmart? Nowhere.
To see that happening, that's just horrible. So surprising to see it here. But we'll have to get over it. We have to move forward.
In fact, when we were talking about that Walmart in El Paso, he's the one who instigated it by continuing to scream about an invasion at the southern border. And innocent lives were lost. And Fox News, another right-wing echo chamber, and then one of their then broadcasters, Tucker Carlson, amplified it. Where were you, Donald Trump, when the Tree of Life synagogue was shot up? Nowhere. You didn't even say 2 words about it. a complete lack of empathy that I think is totally 100% evil in my eyes. And the only time that he tries to feign empathy is when it suits his needs. Those college kids who were killed by illegal immigrants. For one thing, Laken Riley was one of them. If you can see from this truth post right here, that's the only time he wants to see kind of empathy, but then it lasted for 2 words or 2 sentences. Then he goes off on this whole, there's an invasion happening. The evil Mexican horde is coming, and we're going to stop it. This should not be happening. Blah, 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 freaking blah. That's the only time he's ever tried to feign empathy, to fake it. He fakes empathy because he thinks it'll give him some kind of bump in the polls. And that's the only reason why he even mentions those college kids who were killed by illegal immigrants. That's the only reason why he did. He doesn't care about them. He doesn't care about any lives lost. He only cares about one thing and one thing only, anything that gets him back into power. And the disastrous thing is, if he gets back into power, things are going to get 10 times worse. When that young woman said that people are living in the that Mexican immigrants are living in the shadows, she's not kidding. She is not kidding at all. These people, all of us, Americans of color, whether we were born in this country or we were immigrated to this country, we need to be terrified of Donald Trump getting back in office. He has made it clear. He has made it 100% clear that that's his intention. Take them all out. Take out all the dark people. Take out all the Mexicans. Just round them up and get them out. In case you haven't noticed, I'm a black man. And in case you still haven't noticed, I'm a Harris supporter. I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris in this election. Those are the only 2 things that these people see. They won't see the fact that I was born in this country. Hickam Air Force Base, Hickam Air Force Base, Honolulu, Hawaii. And in case I've forgotten, Hickam Air Force Base is a military base owned by the United States military. And Honolulu is a city in Hawaii. And this is gonna blow your minds. Be careful, you might blow a blood vessel, Donald Trump supporters. Hawaii is a state of the United States of America. So your little case against me being deported just because I'm dark, it just fell by the wayside. But just this morning, the morning I'm making this video, a Donald Trump supporter on Twitter tells me I'm going to be deported. Seriously? These are the people we're dealing with, and these are the people we need to outvote this year. We should not be living in some sort of fear because Donald Trump and his supporters are going to come after us. Because Donald Trump and his supporters want us dead. I've lost count of how many people have threatened to kill me ever since Donald Trump became president. I have honestly lost count of the lies posted about me. In matter of fact, it goes into this immigration situation. I've been accused of being a Haitian because I'm black. I'm not of Haiti descent. More to the point, because Donald Trump's lies about Haitians eating dogs and geese. Oh, and by the way, that rumor about about the geese, that was actually done by a white guy. They arrested him in Springfield not too long ago. But that's what we're dealing with. People who don't have a brain in their heads accusing people like me, just because I happen to be of dark skin, that I'm somehow Haitian or I'm Mexican or I'm the other that needs to be removed from this country. See, what really should bother you and scare everyone out there is if Donald Trump gets back into power, what do you think he's not gonna? What do you think? What makes you think that he's not gonna come after you? Just like he will come after that young lady that Kamala Harris talked to. Just like I know he's going to come after me because I happen to be black and I don't bow to him. You see, what we need to understand before I close out this video is that the lack of empathy the total and complete lack of empathy could drive a person to do anything evil. And yeah, I'm using that word, evil. Why am I using that word? Because Donald Trump and his supporters are 100% evil. They have shown it for the last 10 years. And you and I can stop it. We are 3 weeks away from the election, people. We cannot let evil back into the White House. Because this country won't survive 10 minutes before everything we know, everything we love, everything that our military, our men and women in armed forces have bled and died for will disappear under a Donald Trump presidency. Bank on it. I'm cleaning my soul is clean because I'm voting for her. Is yours? Do you still have empathy in you? Do you feel sorry for the person that may have lost everything? Do you feel sorry for a victim of a crime? If your answer is yes, you'll be voting for her. If your answer is no, you sell your soul to Trump. Because honestly, I don't think you'll have one if you do. If you vote for him, you lost your soul. And I don't care how that makes me sound, because I've heard a lot worse from Donald Trump supporters. Bank on that. My soul is clean. Is yours? CTP, know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.